What is going on, everybody? Another episode of 4x4 Camping and Adventures. And in today's episode, something a little bit different. I'm going to be not doing so much a forward drive thing. I'm going to rip the stereo out of my my Trident and essentially replace it with this guy here. So Sony came on board and I had a bit of a discussion with them, so we decided to go with one of their head units. So it's the XAV-AX100 if anyone's playing at home. It's not a promoted video or anything like that. It's just that the fact that I could have a bit of a relationship with Sony, and we sort of came to testing out this gear, and it's got Android Auto, and I've got an Android phone, so happy days. So a little bit about the head unit. It's pretty standard stuff these days. Obviously with these head units, they've obviously got navigation, all that kind of stuff. Pretty standard. This guy here has 55 watt max power, so not RMS, 55 watt by 4. It's got an extra bass option, whatever that is, and 3 pre-outs, so I can still run my reverse camera, which I installed off the previous in-car stereo, and obviously it works with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and made for an iPhone, and it has Bluetooth. So pretty cool little unit. I haven't actually had a quick look. I've had a quick look at it, but nothing too fancy. So I'll do a bit of an unbox. There's actually not too much in the box at all. So what you get. So this is the unit here. So it's a single din. So depending what kind of car you have, if you have a Trident, obviously we've got a double din. So single din unit. There we go. Single din unit. It's got, as I said, 3 RCA jacks. It's got a camera jack. Obviously 10 amp fuse inside of this as well. So obviously it's got a fail safe. Obviously USB, so you can connect up your Android Auto or whatever you're trying to do there. And obviously external. Not sure what that is, but obviously you got your connectors. All that kind of stuff's pretty standard stuff. So it's not actually a bad looking unit. It's going to fit in quite nicely with my whole setup, and I actually like the fact that my volume rocker is on the left hand side, because that's where my current one is, and I've become accustomed to doing that, obviously, so it's become a little bit normal. So yeah, let's rip out the current unit, and mine should be pretty easy because I've actually replaced mine already, so it should be a pretty standard swap. Be a matter of bolting the brackets onto this unit here, make sure it all fits and it's all neat and tidy, and then from there obviously just hooking up the plug in the back. So hopefully it's a pretty easy install. I might have to do a little bit of soldering, I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll obviously jump on that and get into it. Alright, so next things next. You get your bag of goodies. Try not to drop everything like I am. So you got a few things in here. Obviously that's to install it onto the bracket. Have a remote control because. Also we have a microphone. Now I've already got an existing microphone in here, so I'm probably just going to leave that because I don't think I need to rewire everything. Obviously you got a USB connection for the Android Auto and the Apple CarPlay, and obviously just a connector. So obviously this is going to connect all your receivers. It's going to connect parking brake for the DVD player, and all that kind of stuff. So as I said, I've already got all this hooked up, so I'm hoping that I can just whip this up and connect them together. Or yeah, I'll see what happens, but I'll probably have to do a bit of soldering anyway. So we'll get into this stereo, we'll whip it out. If you're curious about what the stereo I had, it was just a standard eBay unit. It was nothing flash. It was literally like 170 bucks. I wasn't massive on stereos. I used to have a really cool stereo back in my my VX Commodore back in the day, and spent a lot of money on it, and just since then I haven't really seen the need to purchase a really expensive stereo. And when Sony wanted to come on board, I was like, alright, cool, we'll just test out their gear and see what it's like. So yeah, that's here we are. So I'm changing the speakers as well. That'll be in a different video, so I don't want to get this video too full of just like, I want to do the stereo install, and then obviously do the speaker install on a separate video, because I just think it'll be too much in one video. So yeah, we'll get into ripping this stereo out and jumping into it. So next step, this is quite easy bit. Essentially you want to get a credit card, party applicator or something like that. You want to push it in. Break your card. So essentially, once you get in there, you want to lean it back, and then the unit should pull out like that. It is a bit of a mission. I did break my BCF car, but that's alright, I haven't got a BCF where I am. And this is what we greeted with. So essentially all the interior of the head unit. So from here, it's quite easy. You just bring the camera around a little bit hard. Bear with me. So once you get to this unit here, you can obviously, this is just the facing of the original unit. Pull that off, so we can use that later. You got 4 screws, 2 screws at the top, and 4 at the front. And essentially what that obviously does is hold the whole unit in, and you just remove it like that. Alright, so first things first. Take out these screws. Don't lose these screws because they are actually a bit of a pain in the bum to find. So, and if you do drop them down there, they'll be in no man's land. They'll be really hard to find. So what I'm taking off now is essentially the bracket that holds the head unit to the car. Look at me light. So the idea behind this, it's actually a little bit overkill. There's actually a fair few screws in here. There's 4 on the front, 2 at the top. And it holds it in quite nicely, so it definitely doesn't go anywhere. If anyone has a tire, they would know that these things are held in with like 1 screw. I'm going to need a different screwdriver to this bit up the top here. But there's 4 screws at the top here as well, and then the whole unit just slides out. So there's the unit there. With obviously the brackets on the side here. This is the thing as I was telling you about we're not going to have to put onto the other unit. So it's quite easy. This is actually quite a good unit for had TV and everything. So GPS, all that cool stuff. So I might just put that on the market to sell it maybe. I don't know, 50 bucks or something, someone to buy it. So everything's down here, ready to rock and roll. As I said, I've already done most of the legwork down here, which is connect up all these wires and that kind of thing. So pretty much ready to go in that respect. I used a Aero Pro converter kit, which was super simple, and then obviously we just ran all these connectors, as you know, heat shrunk everything, because that's the way I like to do things. And then obviously you got your radio, GPS, I don't need that anymore, but that's essentially how we sort of get to the first step. And from here, it's just a matter of connecting up the Sony. So I'll pull off this bracket off this one, we'll get rid of the bracket off there, and chuck it on the Sony and slide it in and see how she fits. So, oh, that's not tight. One of those is in rather tight. So, with these brackets, they are quite easy to install. So it's just 3 screws, and you're ready to go. So there's one bracket. The other side. One of the other reasons I sort of went with the Sony is because they do come with a 3-year warranty. So 3 years, or at least 2 years down the track, if something goes wrong with it, again, I can go back to Super Cheap, because obviously they sell them, and essentially tell them to fix it or whatever I need to do. So that was one of the reasons I went with the Sony, is the 3-year warranty. I thought was fantastic, and the price point. This is around, I think it was 600 bucks or something like that. But the price point I think was actually pretty good for the for what you were getting. So I didn't want to get anything too lavish. Obviously, it's just a Ute, so I didn't want to go spastic and go spend, you know, big dollars on you know, like $1,200 Pioneer units and all that kind of stuff, because I just didn't think that was necessary. I'm using the wrong screws here. I didn't think that was necessary. So so yeah, I sort of looked at the Sony models, and from there we sort of had a bit of a discussion and said we will go with this one. I like the fact that it's got Android Auto, because I think that's the way the market's going. Is everyone's just getting their phones and just connecting them up to the cars and all that kind of stuff, and you can send messages and all that kind of cool stuff. I think that's pretty cool. So you know, it stops people from using their phone while they're driving, or hopefully it'll sort of stop that a little bit. You do have to use these pre-given screws to put it all together. I tried to use mine; they were a little bit too big. The only thing I'm going to have to really do with my install, because I've pretty much got everything hooked up already, but to give you an idea, if you were to do this from stock, you would buy a Aero Pro kit, which allows you to pretty much install, well, connect it all up, do a bit of soldering, all that kind of stuff. Soldering's quite easy with these. There's heaps of room in there. So solder everything up, and then from there, you pretty much, yeah, it's just plug and play. Like, the stereos are so easy to install now. I remember installing one on my VL Commodore, we're talking 10 years ago, and it was an absolute mission. Didn't have plug and play kits in back then. Alright, so that's the brackets on the unit. So looks kind of easy and simple. And then essentially, obviously, we're just going to connect this same plug into the back of here. It looks pretty similar, so I think we can get away with that. Obviously, the video for the camera we'll put in there, and you're ready to rock and roll. So I'll just run a USB line, probably through the unit into the glove box, and then I'll probably just run the USB through to there, so that's nice and easy. Okay, so USB is hooked in. I've found a little spot for that, so we're just going to connect that up nice and easily. Once that's connect that in there. Alright, move that out of the way. Radio next. Radio's nice and in. I just don't need GPS for this one. Do need the camera though. Camera needs to go to the camera input on this, which is this guy here. And obviously, you need to connect the plug. So, just going to install that into here, hopefully. Alright, so the plug is, unfortunately, just slightly different. So I'm going to have to do a bit of adjustment on here, but that's okay. It's just a bit of a change of plug, so I just got to do some soldering. So, two plugs, just a little bit different. Yeah, it's just got a connector that's just the tiniest bit, little bit different. Probably hard to see, but yeah, they're just the tiniest little bit different in there. That's okay. Just a matter of now hooking this guy here into essentially this guy here, and yeah, then we'll be ready to rock and roll. All right, so I've done all the connections. I've heat shrunk all the connectors. I've connected the adapter kit up, plugged in the reverse camera, plugged in the radio, plugged in the USB, and now we're at a point where you can reconnect the negative battery terminal up and find out where you stand. Has all your hard work paid off, or are you restarting and pulling stuff out and yeah, trying to work out where the problem is? So she's in there, sort of connected up. I'm just going to turn the car on. Perfect, she boots up, so that's always a good start. Awesome. Alright, so unit's working, so now I'm at a point where I can pretty much put all the dash together and that kind of thing, and I'll take you through a bit of a demo of the unit. So I'll turn it on and do a first time demo. Alright, she's all installed and ready to rock and roll. So we'll get it sorted out. We'll just set up some stuff. So actually, I'll do that later. Perfect. So home screen. Obviously, it's all touch, so it's all nice and easy to use. The actual touch screen is super responsive. I can go straight into the rear camera. At the moment, it's obviously got a video signal because I haven't got it in reverse. What else we got here? So Bluetooth audio, USB tuner. Tuner's nice and simple. Just shut that up. Also, obviously, you got your settings, so you can go through set it up how you want to. The actual touch on it's actually really responsive, so I'm pretty happy with how responsive the touch is on it. Obviously, you can go through all your stereo settings, put obviously USB video frame rate at 60 FPS, album artwork, wallpaper. I believe you can add your own wallpaper as well to these. So, yep, import from a USB device, which is pretty damn cool. So at the moment, I'm probably just going to stick with the blue. Demo, turn that off because that's for the retail shop. Bluetooth audio. Obviously, I can just reconnect. I can disconnect my phone. I'll just do that now. One thing I did find with my old eBay one is the Bluetooth was ridiculously hard to essentially hook up a Bluetooth device because it was just useless. So I'm just going to. So I haven't actually done any pairing yet, so I'm just going to work this out as I go. So nice and simple. Wait for it to come up on my device. Hopefully. Hopefully. Come on. There we go. Whoops. There we go. Let's give it a sec. Awesome. So that's all now connected. So that was super simple. So essentially, if I go into my music now, I should be able to play some. Knife Party. One thing to do, obviously, when you connect up a stereo is just go through your settings, go through your equalizer, and make sure your speakers are working. Beautiful. So I'll set all that up later, but turn the bass off for extra bass. I'm not really sure what that is, but obviously it's a bit of an extra boost. But straight away it sounds better than my other one. That was pretty simple to judge that. The other one didn't have the greatest sound, but it did the job. So yeah, that's pretty much the run through on how to install one of these Sony head units. As I was saying before, I've already had it all connected up, so there'll be one step in there that obviously I didn't do, but you probably will have to do, which is essentially adding or reconnecting everything to that Aero Pro adapter. But that's just a matter of obviously just joining the cables because all the cables are color coded, and once you're there, obviously you're ready to rock and roll. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Cool thing about this device, obviously on my other one, is I do obviously get the name of the track. So I thought that was pretty cool. So go through folders, all that kind of thing. So I'll check out the CarPlay in a sec. I'll just get all that hooked up. I'm just going to connect up the USB to the phone and give you a run through the Android CarPlay, and yeah, and then I think we'll finish the video off. But pretty cool little device. Alright, so the last section of the demo. So at the moment I've just got the cable hooked up, so it's ready to rock and roll. So all I've got to do now is essentially hook up the cord. It'll go straight into Android Auto. So let's give it a sec. Alright, so we're in Android Auto. So the cool thing is essentially you can go through obviously all the Google stuff. So obviously if you say something like, "Okay Google, play some Metallica."
Okay, asking to play Metallica.
Then you got some Metallica going on. So pretty sure you can adjust the volume. Okay Google, set volume to 5.
Action not supported on this device.
Okay, can't do that. So anyway, I was hoping you'd be doing that because that'd be cool. So obviously you can go straight into your music. You can obviously say, "Okay Google, I want to drive to Perth."
Perth flight is 7 hours and 28 minutes from your location by car in light traffic.
That's obviously setting me up for the easiest route. So so that kind of stuff's pretty cool because you can do all that obviously without your hands on the wheel, which I think's is pretty spec. A little bit flash for a 4B, but that is what we are these days. We've got a fair bit of going on. You can obviously go back to the main device. So if you just want to go use it as a normal head unit device, you can go straight back to the Sony. Obviously, go straight back to your music if you want to go that way. You know, that's another way of doing it. So yeah, you got your calls, you got Google Maps, you obviously pin touch and that kind of stuff. So you can obviously adjust it. You can't zoom out, which I've found out. Anyway, that's fine. You've got your buttons there to zoom out. So pretty cool little device. You can obviously set your destinations, your work destination. You can set up, you know, like some pretty cool stuff in there. So yeah, look, I think it's a pretty cool little device. I haven't tried a real go of this this sort of Android Auto, but I'll give it a go. I don't know if it shows you text messages and stuff. I'm assuming it would. So if you get a text message, you might be able to reply back to them and all that kind of thing directly on the screen. So you don't have to sort of, you know, obviously the idea is stopping people from, you know, using their phones in the car and that kind of stuff. So so yeah, I'll give this a bit of a go and see what it comes up like. But for now, obviously, I'll stick to me Bluetooth music. Obviously, I like me. And go straight back to it, which is pretty cool. All right, another episode of 4x4 Camping Adventures done. First impressions, pretty cool. It makes my old unit look a bit outdated, especially the whole touchscreen is much more, yeah, a little bit better. It doesn't make it look so old school, but anyway, that's the other one was honest. It was only $160, so it was honest for what it was. But so far, I'm pretty happy with the whole setup and just the easeability of it and very simple layout. I do like the fact that obviously everything is on one home screen. There's not sort of menus upon menus upon menus. The touchscreen on it is absolutely wicked. It's so responsive and very simple to use. So I'm going to give it obviously a bit more of a rundown obviously in the future. Obviously you've got USB capabilities. Obviously if you want to connect a USB up to it, you can obviously run a USB thumb drive. If you've got, like, you know, 5,000 songs on a thumb drive, you can do it that way. You can obviously Bluetooth audio from your phone, which obviously what I'll be doing main of the time. Obviously you've got your phone calls, all that kind of stuff. You'll have your contacts and that kind of thing once you add them in there. I haven't done that yet. And yeah, obviously it's a pretty simple sort of layout, pretty simple unit to use. I do like the whole thing, so it's simple. Yeah, it's look, it's super easy to use. So I'm really happy with it so far. So first impressions, fantastic. I've still got to install the speakers, so I've got to install those Sony speakers. So I'll get onto that obviously in the next video. But I just didn't want to make this one a little bit too long because, you know, I just didn't want it to drag out. But yeah, first impressions, fantastic. But as always, I'll see you out there in the next video, or I might even see you out in the tracks and trails. But until then, see you in the next video and stay safe. See ya.